Okay, guys, we did it. The time has finally come. Everyone can watch Tenet now. Everyone can watch Tenet. We did it. 2020's over. We can all watch Tenet. We won. We did it. We did it.
Time travel.
No.
Inversion.
Aim it and pull the trigger. You're not shooting the bullet, you're catching it.
Whoa. Well, I've seen too much. Well, we'll try and keep up.
Tenet is the newest Christopher Nolan film starring John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, Kenneth Branagh, and Elizabeth Debicki. All you really need to know about Tenet is that it's a cross between a James Bond movie and Inception. So take James Bond and Inception, kind of throw them together, and that's what you get. I actually have seen Tenet twice. I got to see it twice in theaters, and I've watched it at home now that's come out, so I've gotten a nice big scope of Tenet. I saw it in theaters, and I was going to do a review right away, but the one thing I have to say about this movie before I really go in, you can't just watch this movie once. You have to watch this movie multiple times, because they throw so much at you so fast that it's kind of hard to really pick up on what's going on until a second or third viewing, so you really get the scope of everything that's happening, which I really enjoy in movies, but that might be a big negative and a big turn off for certain people who just like watching a movie that just completely turn your brain off. Your brain has to be on and like going through filing cabinets when you're watching Tenet. I am a big Christopher Nolan fan. I think he's only made one or two movies I'm not really that big on. And like I've said with my review of Mank, this is again a film that's not going to be for everyone, especially for people who don't like Christopher Nolan's movies because of the sound mixing. I never really got on the bandwagon of Christopher Nolan's films are badly sound mixed because I was like, oh, well, that's what he's going for. He wants to create a world where you don't always hear everything, just like in the real world. So that's what he goes for in his movies. And Tenet, especially the first time that I watched it, not so much the second or third viewing, but the first time I watched Tenet, it was the first time watching a Christopher Nolan movie that I was like, yeah, no, the sound mix is not great. It's very hard to understand, especially a lot of this movie, there's characters wearing masks or their faces covered in some way. The biggest negative for this movie is the sound mix. I think if you're hard of hearing, you don't like watching things more than once, the sound mix is definitely going to be a big detriment to this film. If you're not a fan of the Christopher Nolan sound mix, I think this is the biggest offender of how he sound mixes his movies. That being said, I found this a really, really interesting spy film that really throws you into this world that could be in the same world as Inception, but it's a James Bond-esque film where John David Washington plays a character named the protagonist. The protagonist is looking into Tenet, which has something to do with time inversion and a group involved with time inversion trying to stop Kenneth Branagh, who is a terrorist who has some ties to time inversion, and this film has a lot of time inversion. I really enjoyed this film. I think that the action is some of the most interesting action we've seen in the movie. There's a lot of visually breathtaking shots, especially in these time inversion sequences. I think they do a really great job of conveying that. This is not an easy to follow film. Watching it multiple times, I picked up on new things every single time, and it just enriched the film for me more and more. I really do think this was designed to be watched more than once. Like I said, I enjoyed all the performances. I think Elizabeth Debicki plays a really good, strong character. Kenneth Branagh, I think, gives his best villain performance that I've seen in recent time. It was surprising to see him in this playing a character that I thought was kind of similar to his character in Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, but I thought he did a much better job in this than he did in that film. Robert Pattinson also gives a good performance and shows people that he's more than just Twilight, and he's gonna make a really great Batman. Fight me in the comments, fight me. You want me to make a video about why Rob Pattinson's gonna be a good Batman? Challenge me to do that, I'll do it. Don't mess with me. Rob Pattinson's gonna be a good Batman. I really enjoy the score of this film. I think it has a really nice kinetic pace. I enjoyed all of the action. Like I said, there's certain sequences that you will watch for the first time and say, I have to watch this again. And the movie will go, okay. I would have to rate Tenet an 8.4 out of 10. If you're a Christopher Nolan fan, I think you'll really enjoy this. If you're not a Christopher Nolan fan, this definitely is not going to be the film to convert you. I don't think this film would have necessarily been as big of a hit as people think in a normal climate. I think this would have been one of his lowest grossing movies because it's so different and it's so on the edge of being like an action blockbuster film. This is not Mission Impossible. This is not James Bond. It is something completely different and something that's completely its own. And I really enjoyed that aspect. But the fact that it was the only big movie to get released in theaters this year is actually really fascinating, especially when you watch it and go, this was not the movie that would have pulled everyone back into theaters. Anyway, guys, that's my review. Let me know in the comments what you think of Tenet. What would you like to see Christopher Nolan do next? Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time for another one.